Hello, so welcome to probably our largest project of the semester. And it'll be working with a technique called soft slab. Soft slab is kind of like really wide coils, and it builds really, really fast. When you're doing your coils, you might have remembered that it probably took you about a half an hour to get about this tall. This thing, in a half an hour, it builds really fast, which is great on one side of it because it builds so fast, and it's very difficult and unwieldy because it doesn't have time to set up. The thing can collapse on you, which is also kind of interesting because you can use those collapses as part of the sculpture. It also starts acting like cloth and can look very beautiful the way it folds in on itself. So don't despair. Don't try to be too careful with it. It has a life of its own. This technique is not, as far as I know, written down in any book. I learned it from my teacher at USC, Ken Price, who's very famous. I'll show you some of his work in the PowerPoint. But anyway, I just want to show you the technique. The assignment, of course, is on the assignment page, plus I will show you a bunch of images and prompts in class, in the lecture, from modern to sculpture, Henry Moore, Barbara Hepworth, and also Ken, who's also more contemporary. Okay, so the technique itself. You'll want to start off probably with a base. How to build on a board. And maybe you don't want it just sitting flat on here. Maybe you want to have it so that it has sort of an interesting relationship to the ground. So we can build something, some armatures to build over it. So let's do it just for fun. I'm just going to make this thing up. So I've got newspaper here, crumpling it up, and I'm going to put it into a little bit of a shape. So it keeps the shape a little bit, more or less. Not great. Put something there. Maybe it's kind of big. Maybe something over here. Again, not rocket science. I should have worn my t-shirt that says ceramics. It's a bit like rocket science, but more technical. That's a joke. Anyway, so now I'm kind of ready. I've got some things to build over. We'll see the method to my madness in a second. Here's my bag of clay. Get out a bunch of clay. Probably a little bit too much. Get that in a second. I just want to show you. All right, soft slab. The way you make your slabs, you get this in the ballpark first. Soft slab is like pizza dough. So what I'm doing is I'm about 6 inches above here, and then I throw it down, not flat, don't slap it down, then it sticks. I want to stretch it out. So I go like that. It's actually making a lot. And sometimes I'll start going like that, rather than slap. If I feel get thick in one spot, I'll hang on to the thin part and just work out that thick part. This is going to give you fits, but you'll get good at it, don't worry. So I'm going to go, it's kind of thin, not too bad. No, I don't want to go super duper thin because then I can't build with it. So this is going to be my base. So I'm going to build on top of this. Let's see if I can get these situated in a fun way. There we go. I kind of like that. So now it's not just flat. Some places it is. Maybe I want to make it even more, prop it up even more somewhere else. Just a little bit. Yeah. Just to add some undulation. It'll give a lot of interest down here. It's like his mysterious spaces. I want to take that clear. Okay, now we start the technique. And I mentioned making wide, flat coils, and that's what I'm going to start doing right now. It is so wild and flimsy and floppy but it gains tensile strength once you get the walls together. So I got to kind of, so it has sort of an evenness, not be perfect. Now, to tell you the truth, I do this on the floor. So I start doing the floor, don't worry about it, I'll be right back. I'll do another one up there, but this is really fast. Done. Okay, now, this I'll put on the inside edge, and I'll tuck it in just a little bit. Just tucking it in just a little bit. As you see, it's just really floppy and like, oh my God, this is gonna, oh, what a disaster. And it's gonna, you're gonna feel totally out of control. That means you're doing it right. What you can do is sort of pinch it in certain areas, just pinch it, kind of, just to hold it in place so it won't fall over. Got some extra there. So it's overlapped by about a ½ an inch, maybe even an inch in some spots. It's underlapped. I'm gonna draw that on the board. But let me do another one right here to fill that up so it gets a little bit stronger. As you can see, I'm going through clay fast. I've already used a ½ a bag of clay and I'm already, I'll get this out of the way. So I'll stretch it out up here so you can see what I'm doing. So I wedge it up just a little bit, kind of get it in the ballpark like that. Plenty of clay. Okay. Now I'm going to overlap this. Can you see that over there? How it's overlapped? Overlap and overlap. Good. You see what an absolute mess it is? I tuck it in, pinch that in, pinch that in, pinch that up, pinch that down there. It's overlapping a little bit too much right there, so I might cut off some extra. It only needs about an inch overlap, so I'll take a little bit off. Pinch this in. Okay, what I'm going to do now is start working this in. The very first layer, you always tuck this inside part in underneath the bottom, like here's the bottom, here's when you tuck it like that. And then what I can do now is squish this way and squish this one up on the outside. So I'll squish this in. So I'm going around the whole inside. And I support it on the outside. Where it's overlapping here on the inside, I'm going to go this way. On the outside, I'm going to go this way. Got a soft spot? Hey, it's clay. Let's add some more clay right in here. Very loose. It feels actually kind of thin there. This is kind of thick here, so I can bring some this clay over. Bring the clay up on the outside. Yeah, this feels fine. Put it down, a little clay here, a little thin. Work it in. As long as you work it in, you're fine. So I'm feeling it, so I'm feeling like there's sort of consistent thickness. So now I've got the inside. Now I'm going to do the outside. And I can use my fingers on the outside, but I can also use one of these ribs. And just like cake frosting, just work it in. Just up, 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 up. Here's where it overlapped. So I bring this over, bring this up. And it still feels like a mess and really wobbly and all that. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry. Bring this over here. So now it's all acting like one thickness of slab. And I'll draw that on the board for you in a second. Now, I'm going to do the next layer. I already have some clay here, so I'll just go ahead and add this on. I put it, every subsequent layer, by about a ½ inch, I overlap it. I put it on the outside. You'll see why in a second. What a mess. I can stretch it out this way for wider or this way for longer. Whoops! No problem. Put it outside, overlap on the outside, pinch it in, pinch it in. Oh man. Overlap. Pinch, pinch. Pinch just in a few spots, just so it holds. The big difference between me and you with this technique is I know I can get away with this. You guys didn't know you can get away with this yet. So you're going to be really freaking out at first. I understand. I feel your pain. It's not as hard as learning how to teach online. Believe me. My slabs are not behaving very badly, or behaving badly right now, but let's go ahead and deal with it. It's all right. Pitching on, pitching on. Good enough. Okay, get this back over here where I can work on it. Now the reason why I put this on the outside this time, and I'm going to draw this on the board for you, is I want to be able to go up on the inside. It's much easier. Again, I have to support it though. Go over where I overlap this way. So I'm actually getting it so it's one slab thick. That's the whole idea of joining it together so it becomes one slab thick. By the way, I do have other shirts. I'm just doing all these films in the one day, so just know that I do have a wardrobe. In case you were worried. Maybe it's just me worried. I just think I'm a smelly ceramics professor that wears the same shirt every day. Which is sort of true. Okay. Now on the outside, it's easy to go down because I have room. And again, I'm supporting it. I'm supporting it on the inside as I go down. I go down, 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 down. A little weak there. Clay. Should make me happy. Down, down. Okay, so, and the way I think about this is that now I've got kind of like a grocery bag that I can work with. It's not a sculpture yet, it's just some walls up in a really funky way, and it's all one slab thick, which again I can draw on the board here in a second. Okay, if you could follow me over the board, please. So, here's the bottom slab. Does that even read it? That's not very good. You get the story. Let me see if this one draws better. Here's the bottom slab. Oh, man. Toast. I'll try to use this one. Does that read, Sue, on here? Mm-hmm. There's the bottom slab. The very first slab I tucked under like this. Like that. And that way I could take this inside part and smush it this way. Outside part I can go up like this. So it becomes one slab thick. Like that. Okay? So it goes from that to that after work together. Then every other layer I put on the outside because it's easier to go up on the inside and then go down the outside. So we end up with, again, one slab thick. Okay? So that's how the technique works. Okay, let's come back over here. Get this working a little bit. And I'll start playing with this now. We can start doing some sculpture. Let's say in the shape. It's kind of really wide and unwieldy, and I need to have it come in some. You know, I don't like the way it's coming way out like this right here. So this is actually a dressmaking technique. Not that I've made one, but I've been told it is. It's called darts. And what you do is you make darts. So let's say I want this to go in. So what I'll do is I'll cut straight down. Can you see that? Cut straight down. So now I have a big hole, wide V here. Yeah, good. And what I'll do, see how it comes out? What I'm going to do is go like this. Just fold it in. I'm going to cut off most of the excess, leave it about maybe an inch overlapping or so, you know, half an inch or so, something like that. And then I'm going to go over like this, supporting on the inside, and do the same on the inside. Sorry for the back. But I'm making again so it's one slab thick. Okay, so I brought it in really dramatically. Let's say right here it's coming in too much. I don't want to do that. I want it to come out maybe. So I'll do the same thing, but just in reverse. I'll go out, then I'll open it up, and then I'll get about a triangle of slab that would fit in there, either on the inside or outside. Work this in this way, 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 until it's one slab thick. Now it comes out. So you can see I can dramatically alter this. This one, maybe let's bring this one in too, because it's getting so big. So like that. So I'm really radically altering this form just by cutting, folding, and then reattaching. Now, also as I go along, I'm working fast here. I can actually start working on the surface. Like if I want it really smooth, or if I want something dramatic, I can start doing that now as I'm working. I don't want to wait until the end to do that because the clay is going to get set up. So I can follow this around. For instance, I like this right in here. I like how it kind of naturally kind of comes in, comes out, comes in. So maybe I can play with that. So I can get in here with my rib. And also I have this nice undulation at the bottom because of the newspaper. So I can go like this. And I can just start going with it. I'll work on this just a little bit so you can start seeing it start taking form. And it can start looking really quite beautiful and smoothed out. If you have some kind of hole in here, where you can't get to, cross hatch over it. You're sort of like hitting all the high points off it, like that, and then go back over it. And that should get rid of that spot pretty handily. So I'm just going to work on this one spot just a little bit so you can see you can really finesse this and get some really clean lines if you want that. If clean, angular, fluid, something that appeals to you. But the point is I work on it as I go along. Okay. Now I could really spend some more time, but you can start seeing how it gets defined like that. Yeah, so this technique is so fluid. You're going to be building a negative space in here, so maybe I should talk about that. There's a few ways of doing that. It's a constructed negative space. Some people will get a cardboard tube and put their clay around the cardboard tube and sit in here and then build around it. Well, that's one way of doing it. The other way to construct it is maybe I want to go around, I want to have it coming out of these two spots. So maybe I could go, let me think about this. It's always an engineering, part of the engineering problem solving. Oh, I forgot to say one other thing. If this thing is too unwieldy and it's starting to collapse on you, you can use newspaper for your armature inside. So let me do that. When I get the newspaper, I don't want it too tight. I want it to be springy. So I'll put some stuff in here. Keep it springy so it has some of that kind of tension to it. Okay, that will help. I just want like that, something like that. I'm going to bring this over. So I could build a wall right through here. I did that on the coil project. Remember when I showed you how to make things branch out? You can do that here too. So I can make a wall like this. It's the same size as the coils, right? Like that. I can start building these coils out like this, and then do my negative space in here. Yeah? Or I can fill this up with paper even more. I can lay a slab that slab over like this and start building like this, just like I did in the bottom. Put a slab on the outside. Maybe I should do it. I'm going fast now. I'm not being clean. You understand? I hope you understand that. I join on both sides. Both sides. And again, once I get clay all around here, it'll be pretty strong. I'm going to do this particular slab on the ground suit. Again, I'm about 6 inches away from the floor, so otherwise we'll stick. And I go to a dry part of this floor every time. Put it on the outside, pinch it on. Put this on the outside, overlap it, pinch it on. Everything's overlapped. Take off some of the excess, work it in, work that over that way, work this down this way. Voila, I got this thing starting this way. I can start going like this. I'm gonna do multiples. Yeah, man, it's just a very flexible technique. So you can either be really careful with it and get frustrated, which you're welcome to do, and build slow, or you can kind of attack it like I kind of been doing, and then finesse it as you go along. You can make some really cool stuff happen. Again, I can make this start looking a little less awkward and more fluid, so that this grows out of the bottom part, for instance. So I could probably bring this in a little bit. That in a little bit. Oh, I want to show another thing you can do. Let's say I want to have something start growing out of here. Well, if I keep pushing right here, what's going to happen? Boom, I'm going to poke through. So what I do is I can actually add clay in here. So add a little medallion of clay, and I can push it in there and work it in until it feels about 1 slab thick. Then add some more clay. Push it in, work it out until it fills about 1 slab thick. And I can do that. I can make this thing grow all the way out here. So I can do that all along. I can clean this up so it looks nice. I can also push out against some kind of mold. Not like mold that grows, but like a cup or a bowl or something. I push out into a pole. And they have a bunch of lumps coming out, so it has whoa, 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 all over the place. I can make a scar. This is kind of cool. I can go like this, cut through half of it, and then push out. That's kind of interesting. But anyway, yeah, this technique's so loose, and look how fast it builds. It's just incredible. Alrighty, so that's how you do soft slab. Builds fast. Make sure you support things with this or walls, whatever you need to do. Maybe you need something on the outside. Maybe you need to have a big sort of pharaoh beard to support things. Whatever you need to do. And that's how you do soft slab. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to show you some soft slab projects that students have done in the past with a negative space in it. There's one. Here's an excellent one over here that I really like a lot. It's one of my favorites. It's kind of hard to see with this really bright light, but you can see on the bottom it has an interesting undulation. Nice. This is a rather big one. Maybe you need to stand beside it so you can see how big it is. Oh, let's see. I've got this. Never mind. Forget it. It's big. And that's a kind of a nice one. Interesting. More than one negative space. I like that one. That's pretty cool. It's pretty big. It's almost 3 feet wide. And there's another one over here I wanted to show you. A couple of them, maybe. Here we go. This one's big. And someone did a bust out of soft slab. And again, they covered, there's a Chafee Panther. Cool. And then they used, for the negative space, the armor is all hollow. So again, that's about 2 feet tall. Okay, that's all. Thanks.